Yo, 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 welcome back to another one of those Spin That Back shows. Check it out. It's 323 2024, March 23rd, 2024, y'all. I got Mr. Nice Guy in here. And what we finna do is what we always do. We're going to talk about the golden age of hip hop. And this week, we're going to be talking about the favorite party hip hop songs from the golden age, 79 to 99. Now, I stretched the golden age out that long, those 20 years. Because like me and Mr. Nice Guy here, Mr. Nice Guy, how you doing there, bruh?
I'm doing all right now. About you?
I'm doing okay. Yes, sir. I'm
That's
doing
it.
all right. Doing
That's it.
all right.
And this show's about where's the party at?
Yes, sir. We was just talking about, we grew up in, this is where hip hop began to us. Around, what was that? Planet Rock, right? Let's talk about Planet Rock. Where it
Well,
came, what we
rappers
heard,
delight.
excuse me, Rapper's Delight, where we started hearing it on the radio. But we knew the DJ, we still had the DJ back in our day. They wasn't really playing rap because it wasn't a whole lot of rap out there to play. But rap was about what, Mr. Nice Guy? It was about the party, right?
That's right. We always have, there's different genres of rap. You can have your gangster rap, you can have this, that, and the other, your conscious rap. But hip hop started out at the parties. It was a party. It was always party music, breakdancing, party music. So that's what it's about. It's about the party, 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 and that's what we're gonna talk about. So yeah, these are the origins of hip hop, the party.
Yep. So Rapper's Delight came out, and it was like the first rap song that everybody really heard that went, international and just blew up. And it was all, and
1979.
you know what? Here's the thing. You can throw it on right now. It's still a party song. Everybody know Rapper's Delight. It's just a well-known song.
And a long song.
You can get the chopped down version though. Pretty much people know pretty much about that song though. The thing is, it can still get a party going. But we're gonna go down the line though. We're gonna go from 79 to 99.
That's right. So yeah. So what I was telling you before the pre-show, before the show, this all begins with Rapper's Delight. Rapper's Delight was the first song that I did my two-step to at a party, with grown adults. So you talking about that? There was different genres of music, but this is the first time that rap invaded, and Rapper's Delight, which is big. It just crossed over to a whole bunch of people. So 1979, getting the party started, Rapper's Delight. But if you're gonna talk about Rapper's Delight, to me, you got to talk about Apache. That's another Sugar Hill Gang song. One of the songs that was, hilariously made famous by the legendary performance between Will Smith and the dude that plays Carlton on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Alfonso Roby. Alfonso. I don't know what it's. Alfonso R. But the bottom line is it's a hilarious sort of like dance routine that they do to Apache, one of the most famous sort of like dance sequences. And then I don't know if I want to be moving too fast because you got that up there. You want to talk about the other few songs of that era that I was about to say?
I was just saying, let's start with Rapper's Delight.
Yeah.
Rapper's Delight, that was a good one, and yeah, but when you talk about them, yeah, they did have a whole lot of stuff, Apache. And then that break was just used on a whole lot of other songs. Y'all
Man.
know that Nas song made you look. Yeah. And it's on countless other songs. That's just one that just popped in my head.
And it's
But
a
yeah,
big break dance, and it's a big break dance song. So that's a big part of it. So you know that you got something when it's not just the party song, but it's also the song that makes people want to pull out the cardboard, get a segment there on the floor. So that's what was up. And that whole era, when I think about that, I also think about not too far off, Planet Rock, Africa Bambaataa, one of the original DJs of hip hop. So that song is timeless. People will play this. To me, it was as a DJ in the late '80s and early '90s. Planet Rock was still always a stable of something to play. It was just a timeless song. It's still a dope song, and I understand that Bambaataa has gotten himself into some bad things legacy wise, historically. But his music career, his music contribution, as Karis once says, is rock solid. You can't say nothing about the greatness of Planet Rock, Africa Bambaataa, and the Soul Sonic Force.
Yeah, great song, great song. And once again, one of those songs that turned into basically a breakbeat because that style of music was actually being recycled for so long, especially on the West Coast. It's like the West Coast just really just bit that whole little sound and just not bit it, but just took it and just
No, yeah.
and ran
We're gonna
you know.
we'll have to we're gonna have a trendy segment when we talk about how that fast West Coast stuff that really sort of like ran with that vibe that picked up the baton from Planet Rock and did what they did. But when I think about not to jump in on you, brother, but when we talk about Planet Rock, I also think about the song called "Play at Your Own Risk."
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly who the group was. I don't was it So Sonic Force?
that was it too. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
him.
Now, this is a song I always like to bring this up. Is it's all singing, but it's a hip hop song.
Mhm.
It is a fantastic breakdancing song. Me and my homeboy, shout out to my brother Dave Mason. We had our crew JCB, our breakdance crew back in the day, and that was one of our favorite songs to get down to. So play at your own risk. A certified b-boy hip hop joint, all singing, no rapping.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Bambaataa made a whole lot of good music, back in them days. And like you said, that sound was their sound. That's what they actually brought to the game. And people like Egyptian Lover, even that Wrecking Crew,
Yeah,
you
Uncle
know,
Jam's Army. Yeah,
Drums
yeah,
Army,
yeah.
Ice-T, all that stuff, all that early West Coast hip hop in LA
And
type stuff sounded
that's
like.
the early stuff, and then again we'll get back to that trendy segment that kind of happened that popped in the late 80s. When you talk about the Clear, the Cybertronic, and the Al Nafish, it's time. But let's not jump too far ahead. Let's stay back in
That
that
wasn't
era.
really, but that is in that era though, right? That's like what, 82?
Um, when some of that stuff came out like early like that, but it really cracked and popped it like late 80s as far as the trendy set when you talk about Technicolor and stuff like that. Because Art of Noise was somebody that was always doing hip hop stuff. I mean, you got beatbox, that was something that they did. So Art of Noise had their thing, but there was this sort of like electro funk movement that was happening that really kind of jumped off in sort of like the mid 80s to late 80s. And they had the thing they called the trendy. That's when dudes was wearing the patented shoes, the patent leather shoes, and the baggy pants and the taps on their feet, and that was just that whole sort of like fast tempo vibe. But I want to come back to that because that was a party situation going on.
Okay, because I don't know if you're saying like the late 80s, it's like okay,
I'll speak on that. When we come back to that. I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'll lay out that whole trendy thing because that was like a big thing during like 89, 90, where all of a sudden you had these dance crews that were like gangs, and it was because of that whole sort of like trendy fast dancing type thing. So but before we go back to that, I want to talk about still back in that sort of like original era. You got Hey DJ. Now, Hey DJ, this is another timeless song to me. I mean, it's a song that got the women going because the women were not necessarily very embracing as much as as the guys, but that was a song that really they got everybody dancing. That was the song Hey DJ.
hey DJ, would you play that song? Keep me
Keep me
dancing.
dancing all
And,
night long. Yeah.
is
So
that
that was
a
the world. That was the Supreme. The world. Yeah, the world. Not
world famous Supreme Team show?
show. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So those dudes were legendary. They were dope. I mean, it's like when you talk about old school stuff, a lot of that stuff kind of sounds a little bit of dated. There's a lot of that hurrah and all this other stuff. But sometimes some of that stuff worked for its era. Some of that stuff translate to me. That song is perfect. They sound great right now. If I play that song right now, every aspect of that song sounds fantastic to me. So, it's a party joint.
I need to go into my the music I gave to Lady J.
First lady.
I
Yeah.
got all that old school stuff on here.
You know what I was thinking about doing after the show? I'm gonna put links to all of this music in the comments, so y'all know exactly what to be talking about. So if we hipping you to something that you want to connect back to, or something that you didn't know about too, it's gonna make it to the comments ultimately. But yeah, so I find all this stuff. That's the beauty of YouTube. Everybody's got these videos out there. We play stuff when we could, but we don't want to get in trouble. So that's how we'll get around that. But when I think about Hey DJ, I also think about Jam on It. Because Jam on It, that was another one of them. Yeah. And these are one of those sort of like timeless. I always think about like K-Day. I think about roller skating. Those are those songs that those were absolute party jams that got you going and that are timeless. You want to see some old people start to cutting up and grooving on, you put on some Hey DJ or some Jam on It, and you're gonna see some old folks acting up, grays and all.
Yeah, that's Nucleus, right?
Nucleus, absolutely. Rocked his butt with a 12-inch cut called Disco Kryptonite. Yeah, that was dope. So that was the Wiki.
Yeah.
So yes, so Nucleus. So shout out to those legendary groups that still do like nostalgic performances, here and there and stuff like that. So I love to see the old school celebrated. We're technically all old school now, but I'm talking about the old school that we saw as old school back at the time. So I love to see those people get celebrated. And Egyptian Lover, no, that brother's still doing his stuff right now. So I follow him on Facebook, and he's still doing things.
So, if I ruled the world,
yep, Curtis Blow. Curtis Blow was that dude. Curtis Blow got you going. I mean, you're gonna bring that up, the breaks. I mean, when you talk about Rapper's Delight, the breaks is like right there, tit for tat and stuff like that. So that was another thing that people was playing in the parties, even if they didn't even know what rap was. It was just a disco joint to them. But that's what it was.
Well, see, that's what it was. It was an extension of that. It was. Some people say disco was black music, which it really was, of course. But why did the white people rebel against disco? I don't know. Even us, we even kind of like rebelled against a little bit of disco in a sense. But we took that disco sound and made it hip hop, because hip hop was the next step, basically. So when the disco kind of went out, the hip hop came in. And the DJ evolved, because the hip hop DJ, some of those just didn't know how to do all the blending and stuff like that, but they were spinning disco records.
See, that's the thing about it. When you talk about the beat breaks, it was like the disco song. A lot of these songs where they really had the break part was real busy. And that was the thing that really sort of like lended itself to hip hop, where they was like, we're just going to play the break part. We're going to play the breakdowns. We're going to basically circle those and keep the party going with the most energetic parts of the music. So you're right. A lot of the stuff came out of the disco, the funk era. And, that's what happened.
Yeah, it was. So that's, of course, that's where B-boy came from, the breaks. You dance to the breaks. B-girls, they dance to the breaks. So, yeah. So don't ever let people shit on the disco, because disco was very intricate in the hip hop thing. So I just wanted to say that, because DJs are the foundation of hip hop. So don't get it twisted.
And disco basically came back with house music. I mean, house music was basically like an evolution of disco, same sort of like beat drop and all that stuff. So disco is timeless. A lot of this stuff, circles around. So we've been long enough to see how stuff goes out of style and comes back. I ain't seen bell bottoms come back. I'd never rock them, but I'm sure that there's some people will, or some people have. So
now, as tight as they getting with the jeans, they
go in the opposite direction.
Straight opposite. Yes, sir. So Curtis Blow was man that had some stuff back in them days. Then you had, Run DMC. Well, they came in a minute. But still, Run DMC, you threw on some Run DMC back in the day. Especially something like some Peter Piper.
Definitely.
That'll get the party going. Or get people moving. See, when you want to get the party going, you got to think about it two different ways, in my opinion. You can have the cool little vibes where you can throw on something kind of smooth. Like that's where the vapors might come in, as far as like Biz Markie, something like that. People might just like, shake their head to it. And then you got the stuff that'll get people on the dance floor. Peter Piper got people on the dance floor to start moving. But you a DJ though, so you can tell me from a real DJ's
perspective. Oh yeah. Well, when I think about that era, especially because see, I know that you weren't necessarily a big Kid and Play fan, but Kid and Play had this song called "Getting Funky."
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this song took over. it was a joint, and you know, I mean, it's one of my favorite Kid and Play songs. I saw that they actually had a video for it. I saw it when I went to the hip hop museum when they had that by the Staples Center. But you know, it's a Kid and Play, one of my favorite groups. I mean, I just love what they did with House Party. You know, those brothers, they were cool. They weren't all super tough doing all this other stuff. But the bottom line is they understood the concept of the party, the concept of the dancing, because hip hop has always been about dancing as well. So it's not just the issue about being tough and, you know, sitting there in a b-boy stance, but, you know, getting off the floor, getting off the wall and getting on the floor and doing what you need to do. But, you know, I jumped up a little. I jumped ahead a little bit. I want to go back a little bit earlier in the 80s, because when I think about one party song that'll make people go crazy, especially in my era, was The Show, Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. That song took over. I mean, when both of those songs dropped, I mean, everybody, I don't care if you didn't have people that didn't have no respect for rap, got like all into, you know, The Show and Lottie Dottie when those dropped. So when you talk about something that would get the party going, always think about New Jack City when they're sitting there playing The Show and everybody's getting all hype and stuff like that. So, you know, shout out to Dougie Fresh, the world's greatest entertainer. He understood the whole concept, you know.
Yes, sir. And you know what? This is the Spin That Back show. You know what? I ain't spent the back one time. I gotta spin that back one more time because I ain't been spinning it back. Spin it back one time. Well, see, he's playing with me today. But check this out. We gotta go back again to Mr. Malcolm McLaren. He was talking about Hey DJ.
Buffalo Gals.
Buffalo Gals. Hobo Scratch. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you know, timeless. I remember I remember there was a Sizzlers commercial playing Hobo Scratch. I was like, yo.
Yeah. I remember that too.
Yeah, man. So yeah. Classic.
Your boy Bambaataa got a lot of stuff from Kraftwerk too. You know, there was a big influence on hip hop. Shout out to that German group or whatever they was. They was, you know, somewhere overseas.
Hey, those overseas European German dudes, they got it cracking. You know, they gave us a lot of stuff that, you know, that actually we got late, you know, but that was that they set off a lot of stuff. So when you talk about Kraftwerk, I think Kraftwerk did Beatbox, wasn't it? Or that was Art of Noise. But Kraftwerk definitely did Tour de France, and that was, you know, what basically you know, the one of the most iconic moments in breaking with the turbo with the broomstick. So, you know, Tour de France, that's just, you know, just amazing.
Yeah, Tour de France, Autobahn, Numbers. You know what I mean?
Numbers is one of my absolute favorite, you know, joints. I remember Ultramagnetic did a version of Traveling at the Speed of Thoughts, basically sampling Numbers. I mean, Numbers is you find some way to put that you put that on a track, it's gonna liven it up. It's just gonna be, you know, it's gonna be what it is. Man, now you're making me real nostalgic to the mix masters, the Friday nights where they used to do all the mix. You know, shout out to DJ M-Walk and Joe Cooley. You know, they used to cut those things up. So, you know, man, shout out. Definitely spin that back.
A show there. Okay. So you was talking about Dougie Fresh. So you already said that. So since you didn't open him up, it was somebody else I was thinking. Oh, Fly Girl. I
didn't know if I wanted to bring this up, but I'm glad that you did. I mean, the Boogie Boys.
Yeah, Boogie Boys.
These cats were next level production wise. If you go back and listen to how clear and how tight and how banging their beats were, when you talk about, you know, Fly Girls, and then they did Girls Talk, you know, they got I mean, they those cats, that was something that you heard back in the day. People was bumping in their trucks and stuff like that. I mean, you know, it's a different thing. You get citations way more than you did back in the day. But I mean, that was one of those songs that people was bumping, and it just went everywhere. Shout out to the Boogie Boys, you know, Boogie Night, Romeo, JD. Them cats was just, you know, I know I'm forgetting the third one. You know, one of them died. You know, rest in peace to that brother. But yeah, you know, I love the Boogie Boys. You Ain't Fresh. Man, so, you know, I love the Boogie Boys. I'm glad you brought them up.
I forgot all about that song. You Ain't Fresh.
Oh man, hey man, I think about them. They had a song called "Dealing with Life" that was like actually used for like one of those like TV show, like it was like on a theme for like one of the TV shows on Fox. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember it, but I remember thinking like, wow, they used like the Boogie Boys, dealing with life. So it's Boogie Boys has. Hey, go check out their discography. They had some nice joints. I mean, at least over those first 2 albums. They had that song "Run It," just banging it. They were some investigation. That's an OG, mid '80s, early '80s, group that did some big things.
Yeah. Spin that back one more time for the Boogie Boys. Go do y'all research on them because they did have some hits. Now they reminded me, I'm like, oh, I forgot all about that song.
Man, I love Biggie Boys. And my favorite rapper of that group was Romeo JD. I mean, a lot of these rappers, always look, when you have multiple rappers, someone's gonna tend to step in front. I mean, they're just not all gonna be the same. Sometimes they offer you different flavor. Like when you talk about Lords of the Underground, but UGK, you got Bun B and you had Pimp C. They're completely different vibes. You know what I'm saying? Bun B's the more lyrical dude, whatever, and stuff like that. And Pimp C was the more kind of flavor, like whatever. But you have the guy that's clearly the better rapper. It's sort of like with a Nice and Smooth, with Greg Nice and Smooth B. So with Romeo JD, I mean, he was just a cut above as far as lyrically. The way that he did his
patterns. Wait a minute. You just said something. We gotta have a debate about this. Who was better out of Nice and Smooth?
Oh, lyrically, it's no question that Smooth B was the better lyricist.
Okay.
Right. But Greg Nice was just a party guy. You know what I'm saying? So, but he was the beatboxer. He was the beatboxer for Tila Rock and Mantronics and stuff like that. And then he came over into rapping. Just like Dougie Fresh, he was the beatboxer, whatever. But he ended up becoming a big person on the rap scene. So you never limited to the thing that you started out doing. But no question. I mean, he wrote those lyrics for Bobby Brown.
Yes, sir.
All the original
everything
stuff.
Everything that he rapped. Yeah.
So shout out to Smooth B, and you know what? You done brought him up. We're gonna talk about maybe my favorite groove song, party song of all time is Dwick. So this is Gang Starr with Nice and Smooth. And I mean, this is you talk about Primo did this beat. This is the epitome of simplicity. We understand that as lyricists, like me, I was always a person that leaned into complex lyrics and stuff like that. But Nice and Smooth taught me how, there's this lane for this other stuff that's just party stuff. People that the party will actually recite and have fun saying along with you. And Dwick is going to get me on the dance floor every single time. That's just one of my favorite all-time joints.
Wow. I ain't even mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a classic song, especially the beat is just like crazy.
Yeah, no.
Then that one line that Guru said about what he said about the lemonade.
Yeah. Lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. I get more stunts and props to Bruce Willis. Shout out to Bruce Willis. Probably my favorite actor all time because Moonlighting was my favorite TV show back in the day. But he just had a birthday on the 19th. But yeah, that song is just a banger. None of those guys, I mean, even Guru, to me, Guru was a dope lyricist, really kind of monotone, whatever, but they all just worked that song. You know what I'm saying? He worked his career. He's got a lot of great songs. I ain't no knock on Guru, but I'm just saying that they came together like Voltron to put together a great, classic, fantastic song. Man, I love it.
Dwick, I gotta say, that is a classic song.
It gets me going. Me going.
That would get the party going, but when it came out, I wasn't even thinking about it like that. It was just, it got to be the show shot, Nice and Smooth. It's got to be the show shot.
And you know what? I'm gonna take credit for this because I understand that I wasn't that big a DJ back in the day, but I did find myself into some circles. I did DJ at what's the place called? I definitely DJ'd at the House of Blues, but what was the place? There was a big club that there used to be, not a club, but it was a venue where people performed on Hollywood, on Sunset. I forgot what it's called, but suffice it to say, I'm just saying that I remember there was a time where people weren't really playing Dwick at parties, but I made it a point to put that in my rotation. A lot of DJ, not the Palladium. It was actually more west. It was over there by Tower Records. I mean, a lot lot of big people performed there. I had a homeboy, unfortunately, got killed there.
House of Blues.
No, it's not House of Blues. It was across the street from House of Blues. But
Oh.
it's like when I come back to you, I'll tell you, I probably won't remember for the show, but you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that was, I mean, because there's a lot of like rock stars who perform there. I mean, it was a big, you know, it was a big club, a big venue for like performances. It wasn't really, I wouldn't think of like a dance type thing, but you know, they did that too. What happened was I used to DJ and then I kind of stopped DJing. And then my homegirl, shout out to JJ, she was, you know, DJing, and she was, you know, one of the most famous, popular female DJs at the time. She was DJing at Kane, she was DJing in the House of Blues and DJing at this spot. And, you know, she brought me along. So, and she got me a gig there every now and then because I was trying to run away from DJs. People kept bringing me back into it. But, you know, coming back to this music and the stuff that got you going at the party, another song around that time was Alcoholics Liquid. That was my joint. I mean, you know, that whole beat they sampling a Biz Markie
They sampled Run DMC too, For You.
Yeah, for you, and then the fresh from I forgot those MCs, but that's that song. And then they also used that the beat from the Marley beat, one of the greatest beats ever, Make the Music with Your Mouse Biz. That beat, that boom boom with the I mean, but they flipped it. I'm telling you, Liquid, Alcoholics, go check that out. That's one of the greatest songs of all time. I can't tell you how many times I bumped that in my car still, you know, so, you know, I rock with them, you know, so
Liquid. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, no, but they had a lot of dope stuff, you know, they put in some work, you know.
Yeah, I think that's shout out. In fact, if you throw on that album 21 and over.
21 and over.
21 and over. Okay, yeah. Yeah, check out that album. That's the first song on the album. As soon as you throw it on, that beat comes
first
on.
Song.
Oh man, it's beautiful.
I remember the first time I heard it, I went over to Brick Wall's house and he's like, yo, you need to check this out. And he put that, and we had the vinyl. He wasn't, even though he had the 1200s in the back room with the studio and stuff like that, we were out in the front room, the living room. So he was just playing it on the regular, and he put on in that first song. And I just was like, bruh, these Alcoholics is on something else. And, you know, and they started off with the well, they actually started off with the King T. What was that song called? I Got It Bad. I Got It Bad. Mm-hmm. And then the videos that they released after that was I want to say some move. What was it called? As Make Room. Move. Yeah, make room for beats. Yeah, so it was Make Room, and then they also flipped that other song into it in the video. So they compiled two songs, but the first song was Make Room. So, you know, again, shout out to Liquidation, that whole movement. They were like the Wu-Tang of the West Coast, man. I loved all that. You had the barbershop MCs, you had Dilated Peoples, you had King T, who was he was Exhibit, Loot Pack. So, you know, shout out to Liquidation. So, you know, that's what's up.
In fact, spin that back for them one time. Yes, sir. In fact, give them a big spin back.
Yeah, I used to follow those cats around. So, you know, that they were one of my favorite shows at House of Blues and whatnot. I mean, I went to a lot of Liquid shows, so, you know, love those cats.
Oh yeah, man. Man, you throw that on right there. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but Make Room was the one though. Throw that.
Make Room. Yeah, Make Room was the single. So that was, you know.
That reminds me of Lords of the Underground too. Funky Child.
Mm-hmm. They did that, and Lords of the Underground also had that Funky Child. Their first song was Psycho.
Yeah, that was the first song, but it wasn't really big though.
Well, that was their hip hop song, but you're talking about that. The Live with the Funk, the funky one, you know, the number one Chief Rocker. Yeah. So yeah, Lords of the Underground. So that was a Marley Marl group. They weren't the Juice Crew. They weren't Juice Crew, but they were still Marley Marl official.
Yeah, because Juice Crew was pretty much done at that time.
They weren't really active. You know, I mean, Shan never dropped it. Biz Markie and Roxanne Shante, they never really went away from it. There was a time where Big Daddy Kane, because he was so close, big friends with KRS One, that he sort of like disassociated with it. And then Kool G Rap got it. Not Kool G Rap. Kool G Rap was another dude that held on to it. But Craig G and Kool G Rap kind of got into it. So, Craig G was like, now Juice Crew, whatever. So, there was some things, but I'll say this, even though Big Daddy was the first person to sort of like disassociate with the crew, he was the one that got them back together. And when they've been doing tours of late, that was Big Daddy's work. So Big Daddy Kane's work. So shout out to Big Daddy Kane, the legendary.
Oh yeah, shout out
Mount Rushmore, Big Daddy Kane. Ain't no half stepping. That was a party groove right there. So, shout out to that brother.
Oh, well, yeah. But you know what? Kane had a whole lot of good stuff, though. To be honest with even the Smooth Operator, that get you on the floor.
Yeah, definitely. That was that smooth groove stuff, And he also had I can't remember the song, but he had a song that was produced by Teddy Riley. So if Teddy Riley did your song,
I get the job done.
Yeah, I get the job. It's gonna be a party song because you talk about party songs. Let me shout out to my brother Chris that brought up Rump Shaker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rump Shaker was a song that as a DJ you want that in your arsenal because that was gonna get people on the floor.
Yeah.
Rex and Effect, Teddy Riley produced.
And shout out to Pharrell for that Rump Shaker.
Pharrell had a part in that.
Is that all I want to do is boom, boom, zoom, boom, zoom, and the boom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shake your
rump. I thought I don't know if he was. That was early because that was definitely Teddy Riley's produced group. But I don't know. Maybe he had early. A lot of these cats were involved in stuff before they really broke and cracked. So if that's the case,
Pharrell made that beat, bro.
Oh, I never knew that. So shout out.
He was very young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They must have been very. Hey, it's just like Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley did the show. I didn't know that until I saw that Salt and Pepper movie. Yeah, I'm sitting there like, what?
15. Yeah. And I mean, even Dougie Fresh was super young. They all was super young at that time.
But they were older. Dougie Fresh. I mean, Dougie Fresh goes back to East
Teddy
Street.
Was young then, but
Teddy Riley was young. That was that was sort of like, that was Herbie putting Teddy on. You know what I'm saying? So it just was like that's kind of dope. So, but shout out to the legendary Teddy Riley. Everybody's got to start somewhere. And shout out to the legendary, Herbie Lovebug, because they had a lot of stuff going, party. You talk about, I mean, to me, I love Tramp. That's one of my favorite Salt and Pepper beats,
Hold on. Hold on, bro. You didn't. Wow. Okay.
That's me going too fast.
I love the song Tramp too, but it's just you don't have to be like, man, I love Tramp, but it's like, goddamn, for real.
Hey, Tramp. I mean, I know, yeah, they were dogging out dudes, but it's just, and that's the thing about it. The East Coast found a way to dance to slower stuff. Because we had to, like, on the West Coast, we had to like have the fast stuff. It's like we listened to the other stuff, but a lot of our dances that we did were like the fast dances. That's what sort of like led to that whole sort of like trendy movement. It was that like fast tempo, that 120 beats per minute type, situation. Whereas, people on the East Coast, I mean, they were doing the Bismarck dance. So they're dancing to like 80s and low 90s beats per minute type stuff. So, they had that stuff. You talking about Dougie Fresh doing the Dougie, the Dougie was Dougie Fresh's signature move that he'd been doing since the 80s.
That's just what he do.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, some more stuff from back then though. I mean, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Back in my day, when even this is still the same time frame, early 90s, late 80s. You throw on some NWA, you getting the party rocking too. Okay.
And that's the thing about the gangster stuff did get people active. Honestly, just cutting up gets you active. You bringing up NWA, I'm gonna let you say that, but I'm gonna jock the next person, and you're gonna be like, for real, got the party going.
Go for it. Who?
Luke. when you talk about songs like it's your birthday, shout out to Mike G. Mike Graham, he brought that up. I mean, I said that might be a top 20 all-time party song. I mean, you're talking about that will get people dancing and cutting up. I mean, people will be quoting that and don't even know the song. You know what I'm saying? It's just that hook is actually, yeah, it's just,
Brown.
And Doodoo Brown. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to my brother Juice, from the barbershop.
We
MCs.
Man, he got so.
Yeah. No, so and again, these songs were vulgar. They were out there. But even sedity females got loose when these
Pop
things
that
will
say,
throw that D. Shout out to my brother Ambrose who's putting those things out there. So I mean, yeah, no, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Luke. I want to rock. I want to rock. I want to rock. I want to rock. I want to
Man,
rock.
I mean, he had a whole stretch that was just pretty much locked down by him, and it wasn't just that. I mean, just the whole Luke Dancer thing. I mean, he really sort of like helped us reset our concept of Black beauty. I mean, this dude did a bunch of stuff. So shout out to that brother.
Yeah. Shout out to Uncle Luke.
Uncle Luke.
Uncle Luke, man, for sure. Uncle Luke, man. If it wasn't for Uncle Luke, man, my life wouldn't be the way it was back in them days. That's all I can say. Luke opened me up to a lot of good things.
Yeah,
Thank you,
hey,
Uncle Luke.
and got that sticker on there. You know what I'm saying? That movement. It's just that that
that progressive. Yeah,
exactly. So
and you know what? He went to court. You know what? Luke did a whole lot for hip hop. He went to court and fought these battles and won and lost a whole lot of money behind all this stuff because he was a man that was actually controlling his own thing. Luke was one of the first dudes that had his own private jet as a rapper. One of these type of rappers. This man had his own label and everything. All this stuff these people getting nowadays and was getting back in them days and bragging about. He already had this stuff in the 80s.
Yeah, what people was lying about, he was actually doing. So yeah, no, it's a fact because when you're talking about a lot of these rappers was getting job, a lot of these rappers weren't even making a bunch of money because you had these record labels controlling stuff. But then you had people like Luke and you had people like Master P that were in control of this stuff, and they were making tons and tons of money, and they were making money with control.
Yeah, if you're talking about Master P and
make him say the
first Master P, Luke was the first. All that.
Well, he did the about it.
Yeah. But Luke, as far as I'm just saying, but Luke, as far as the label and everything.
No, he was that dude. I mean, hey, Schoolie D kind of do it on a lower level, but not on the big money, not on the big money level.
Luke went shit. He went multi-platinum and everything, and it was bringing in all that money, just like you said, like Master P was doing. Master P had a good run too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody that get one good platinum album, if they own the, all the, royalty or rights and everything that Master P had,
No Limit Soldiers,
they'll be good. If you just have one album and have that deal that Master P had, you can be good. This man had, he had a record coming out every 2 days.
Yeah.
And it was going platinum.
Hey, he was the guy that rescued Snoop from Suge. So, he did his thing. Shout out to Master P.
Yeah, shout out to Master P, because I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. Master P had the coldest marketing plan I ever seen. Every time you look up, if you're driving down the street, every damn bus that drove by, every bus stop, you see this man's albums coming out, and then this album coming out. It's like 30 albums plastered on the damn bus stop. Like, what the hell? What is this man doing? Yeah, that man was making money.
Yep, and he had some artists. He's stable, Mystical. He got himself into some trouble. A lot of our heroes of music have gotten himself into some trouble. But that dude's discography is solid. He's got a collection of great talent, of great work that he did. So shout out to Mystical, one of my favorites.
Shout out to Mystical, man.
Show me what you're working with.
Mystical, I swear to God, he was James Brown. I thought he was James Brown's son when I heard him. Yeah, for real.
Man, his energy. I mean, it's just like you, and it's funny when you see a dude go in the booth and do that type of stuff, and then you see him talking regular, and you're just like, I mean, obviously he can't talk like that regular, but it's just always it's a big extreme. I mean, word to Cypress Hill, Be Real's got like a deep voice when he's talking to you regular, but when he's doing the rapping, he goes into that whole nasal pitch. And shout out to Cypress Hill. I mean, How I Could Just Kill a Man. That was the backdrop to one of my favorite Fly Girl sequences. On In Living Color. So they did some dope stuff.
Yeah. So just like you're saying about Mystical, this is the reason why Lil Jon is making what type of album is he making?
He's making a
meditation album.
Yeah, meditation guidance album.
Yeah. See, living like Mystical, Now you know. Now Lil Jon knows the reason to turn down.
Yeah,
Turn down.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a good reason to turn
yeah,
down because
yeah,
it's too
yeah.
it is too.
Oh, well, we get older and we got to transition into older things. So I remember LL Cool J used to talk about being a B-boy, and then he was like, I'm on some B-man type stuff, grown type stuff. So sometimes you do have to evolve. So that's how it is.
I mean, the truth is, yeah, you're right, because we are getting older, and if you want to get out here and perform, you might as well perform some meditation type stuff, something you do in your older age, because you ain't gonna be able to be out here turned down for what no more, jumping around. So you might as well get you a little wheelchair together, get it all chromed up and gold and all that old good stuff. Yeah, get out there.
Hey, that reminds me, because you remember that song from the Breakfast Club movie, Don't You Forgetting About Me? I don't know who the artist, I remember who the artist was, but I remember
hey.
Yeah, and I remember they had like one of these sort of like celebratory performances, and I mean this dude was up there in age because obviously he's older than us, and he's sitting there dancing around, and I just couldn't help like, hey, somebody better get Papa before he go break himself. So we do have to transition. We can't always do all the young stuff that we used to do, but I celebrate older folks doing stuff. I know that everybody was clowning Kid and Play for being a grown and work. They can't quite move like they used to move, but I understand that sometimes you film them while they've done like the 50th tour, and Muggs is tired and worn out and stuff like that. So I know that they can move better than that now.
Yeah, but who wants to do all that? I mean, because they were kids, man. They no more, bro.
That's right. We grown up, so we got to do grown up thing. That's why gangsters boogie. They don't dance, they boogie. So boogie music still holds up. So you do all that stuff.
That's the realest thing this man has said on here. Because I ain't about dancing. Yeah, I ain't never did that old funny dancing like Kid and Play.
I danced. I did all of that stuff. I broke dance. Yeah, I wasn't too cool to dance. It's okay to dance. Dance.
Dancing is good for you if you know how to dance. I encourage people to dance, but it ain't for me.
Hey, you know what? That's true. And one thing I will say that when I used to DJ at Dublin's, or when I set up for my homegirl JJ at Dublin's, she the white people, they just even if they weren't the most rhythmic, they had fun. They understood the content. They got the assignment that, look, you guys are out there partying, just do whatever. I understand it's music, and I'm just saying that I appreciated the fact that they figured out how to have fun even if they weren't the most coordinated, because at the end of the day, have fun.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
But us black people, we too cool for that. You need to have some type of coordination, or we're gonna clown you about that. So I mean, it bees like that. So that's why hey, two-step. Everybody can two-step. You know what I'm saying? So Google it, as Walk would say.
Yes, sir. So back in the day, you throw on some Eric B and Rakim. You got Soul. That'll get them on the floor too.
Eric B is for president. I mean, when people talk about the show, I saw a post. They were comparing those things in New York. Eric B for president, and the show was like neck and neck as far as like party jam type situation. So, and that was definitely a vibe to Eric B for president. Rakim did something there that he really did duplicate. He evolved and went to different things, but that was a party vibe.
Oh yeah, especially back in them days. You got to think about these days, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody was creative in these days. Everybody didn't sound the same. You can think this old school hip hop did kind of sound similar, but if you really study it, it didn't sound exactly the same as the next person. A lot of people try. If it did, it's people trying to sound like other people. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you listen to a lot of certain artists, you can tell that they was actually dipping and diving into other people's styles and just doing a thing.
And sometimes these record labels be forcing you to do that type of stuff. A lot of these A&Rs, they feel like you have a lot of these, the business of hip hop, the business of music in general is not always in the best interest of music. So sometimes
the business of music is to make money, period.
Yeah. So, so that's why sometimes, and sometimes they encourage you to do things that work. and sometimes they encourage you to do things that don't, so that's it. I remember we talked about Cypress Hill, their whole movement was called the Soul Assassins, DJ Muggs. So then you got House of Pain, so Jump Around, big party song. I remember at Dublin's, DJing, they didn't want, like, I would just say they didn't want black people there, but this was their trick. They would say no t-shirts and jeans, and then they wouldn't play rap music. They said you were not allowed to play rap music. So that was their way of controlling the audience that would come into Dublin. So they were playing a lot of sort of like 80s, 70s R&B and stuff, like classic R&B, you know what I'm saying? But I remember they let me do a segment, to celebrate, because Dublin's, it was an Irish bar. So I played a House of Pain, Jump Around, and I mean, everybody lost their effing mind. But they were like, all right, it's enough of that rap. We don't want to draw that crowd. But still, that, which is sad. But that's how it is. So, but the reason why I brought them up, Soul Assassins, I also wanted to bring up Funk Dubious. If you don't know about Funk Dubious, they had this song called The Funkiest. Google it if you don't know. Amazing song. But the record, they didn't release this song as a single that you could purchase. The people at the record label got the smart idea, hey, we're just going to create this record and give it for free to all the DJs to play. But they didn't sell it. And so it got a lot of rotation, it got a lot of pay, but people weren't buying it because it wasn't available to sell. So, don't bring this up to Funk Dubious, because the dude, Funk Doobie, he will get upset that, he was deprived of all the money that could have been made. But I'm just saying that this is why you got people that make these business decisions that impact people's musical careers, not just financially, but crafting their music. So that's why I was bringing that back. I wasn't just veering off into a straight tangent, but just the fact that, some of these things that these business people are pushing artists to do these kind of dumb things.
Actually, you know what? Let me stand that back on that, because that was some good education right there, because I never even knew that right there. So I'm going to go look it up. Honestly.
Yeah. Funk Dubious. He also had a song called Bow Wow. Both of those songs were produced by DJ Muggs, again. Yeah, exactly. So, and Funk Dubious, that was a dope dude. And I mean, you go check out The Funkiest. It's just a banging song. And that dude is a character. He's a character. So that's all I got to say. Shout out to Funk Doobie.
Didn't they used to bump down the radio too?
They did. Well, again, that's the thing about it. It promoted very well, but it wasn't available for sale. So they did it to promote the guy, but didn't give you the thing to purchase. So it was a crazy marketing ploy that was just ridiculous. And then the thing about it is, you got to understand that some things get hot and then they stop being hot, and you got to push the sales while it's hot. Is the reason why they're like, want to promote something and then tell you the album's going to drop a week from now, so to get everybody juiced and gas, and then they buy it then, because otherwise, a lot of times people buy it, record it, give it to their homeboy, this, that, and that. So by getting everybody hungry and then giving it to them at a later point in time, you increase the chances that people are going to buy it, because they ain't going to be trying to wait for their homeboy to get it. So
yeah, okay. So it is what it is, and shout out to Funk Dubious. But anyway, so it was a whole lot of stuff out there, So when you're talking about getting the dance floor going, what else you got out there?
What I got is
anything with Nate Dogg back in the 90s used to get the dance floor going.
That's that groove stuff. That's that smooth gangster stuff. So that definitely, and since everything went there, it just covered. But I mean, hey, bitch better have my money. This was a song that you play AMG. I'm just telling you that people would run to the dance floor. You'd be sitting there sipping and being cool and stuff like that, and then you hear that, oh, and then it's just the beat. Everything about that song is perfect. It's not necessarily the most politically correct song, not the most respectful song, but as far as the quality of music, as far as just something that they accomplished musically that's just dope, they did it. Shout out to AMG.
Shout out to AMG. All right. Big going back to Cali.
Big, definitely, and I mean, and that's kind of sad that was the song that he did going back to Cali, and then he died out here in Cali. But But
how about Hypnotized then? Hypnotized, I think.
But no, to me, Big going back to Cali was the big. I mean, that was my song. I mean, Hypnotized, I didn't really care for that as much, going back to Cali, that was just a joint. I mean, it's funny because LL Cool J did something very different with Going Back to Cali. The whole rap style, he just went in a completely different direction, and somehow Biggie did it Going Back to Cali, and it was a completely different other direction, just dope in another way. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great accomplishment. So B.I.G. man.
Yeah, because LL was like, yeah, I ain't going back to Cali.
I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think so.
But I mean, it was just his whole vibe on that. I mean, everything about that song, just the horn, just the tempo. I mean, it was really out the box. Shout out to the legendary.
You know what?
GOAT,
It had
LL
to
Cool
grow
J.
on me. It had to grow on me because at first I'm like, this is a weird ass song.
Yeah.
No goddamn sense. Even while I listen to it to this day, it's like it don't make no damn sense. When you just listen to the whole record all the way through, it's like this. I don't know what the fuck he talking about.
I'm that type of guy. I mean, sometimes these people just put together these weird type of flows that just like work. You know what? I ain't got nothing for you, man. Flavor Flav.
I love that
I
song.
love that song. I mean, when I tell you, it gets me going. And it's just a completely different flow on it. You know what I'm saying? And you talk about our era, that's an example of when you talk about stuff not sounding like other stuff, that's an example of it. Because the flow that he's doing out is just completely different.
Yep.
Running from your wife, yipes. You jumped out the jelly into a jam. I got nothing for you, man. And and that was from House Party. So it's a party song. But that's one of the all-time great party songs. So shout out to Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav was just a hype dude. I mean, literally the hype man. He's the template for being a hype man. So the whole the purpose of a hype man is getting the party going.
And spin that back because he is the number one hype man of all time. And don't let nobody else tell you anything. It is what it is. And y'all probably just know him from Flavor of Love and think he's just a little cockroach in a with a clock. You might think he is, but Flavor Flav is an absolute beast, though. Don't get it. And he's a musician. Don't get it messed up.
I know this dude can play. You put him in front of piano and all this other stuff. I mean, he can play. He's not. I'm not talking about like chopsticks. No, he can play. Yeah. Flav is crazy. He's dope, but he's just a legendary a piece to the hip hop puzzle and of the greatness that is PE.
Oh, of course, yes, sir. But him and Chuck D, they wrote those lyrics. They said so. Either way. So anytime you put Naughty by Nature's, there are greatest hits out there, you get the party going, in my opinion.
Yeah, now OPP was one of those joints, you're talking about, now again, that was a song that I wasn't really into, but it was that was the song that got the party going. So it shout out to Naughty by Nature. No, that was one of those joints, definitely.
Yeah. Naughty by Nature, they came in, they changed the game, they had their own sound and everything. And I was just looking at something just yesterday. Vin was talking about, somebody had asked him, what happened with Naughty by Nature? Why did y'all break up, or or whatever y'all did? Why y'all dissolve, basically? He was like, well, we had our own sound and everything, and when KG started producing outside of the group, that's where the riff came in at right there, because he was taking our sound and putting it into the R&B world and having a whole lot of success, and it was just on from there. And it is what it is.
Yeah, and they like fought too, so they had some the Vin and Tretch, so they had some brotherly, some brotherly friction. Yeah. But but that's how it is. Men testosterone. You got to understand, these was men's. So it's gonna be like that. You're only gonna tolerate so much before you go off. So that's what happens between brothers, and it's okay. I mean, it's okay to get beyond it. I don't encourage any grown-ups to be fighting, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, brothers gonna work it out too. So
there you go, brothers gonna work it out.
Salt and Pepper, they used to have a whole lot of bangers. They get people on the flow. Just throw out some names.
Yep, and their big party song, Push It, this was a song that taught rappers how to eat. Because it was one thing to make songs that you liked and listened to, but Push It did so much successfully as far as sales and generating money other rappers realized, hey, I need to push it to put on my album. So, you know, they had that one fast tempo dance song that, you know, people use to get going. So, I mean, and, you know, people did it. To me, I wouldn't necessarily call that so much selling out as understanding, being strategic as far as, you know, as long as you figure out a way to do it in a way that worked, it worked. I mean, you know, look, music is about taking risks a lot of times. A lot of times you got to get out of your character, do something that you're uncomfortable with, and then step back from it and be like, you know, that was kind of dope. So that's okay.
Yeah. I ain't even mad at you on that. In fact, spin that back. Mr. Nice Guy always coming with those facts. You know what I'm saying? Because Pushy was a very big record back in them days.
Hey, and that's why I wish Brick Walls, you know, we'll ultimately get Brick Walls back, but he's dealing with some health issues. But yeah, you know, me and him, we just work together. When I put the symbol, let me block myself so you can see what it is. This is that oops, it didn't work. Oh, there it goes. But yeah, bottom line is that was our group, and you know, we had to create a push it song, you know, a fast tempo type song, because we understood that's the dynamic. And you know, we did a song that was dope and we liked it. So you know, that was the thing about it. We wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for that, but we took the assignment and we figured out a way how to do it. So that was, you know, where we came with. So you know, that Salt and Pepper taught some people how to eat.
Yeah. Shout out to Salt and Pepper once again. Spin that back. Yes, sir. So anyway, let me just say this too. Back in the day, you throwing some Cube, that usually get people going, depending on what song. But yeah, but Cube, if you know all his popular stuff, people usually get on the floor for that.
And he did a lot of music that translated over to the females very well. Like when you talk about Get Into It and stuff like that. I mean, those songs, I almost don't understand them coming from Cube, but they just blew up and they did well, you know. And the females, you know, I mean, you understand why he did certain songs for like Players Club and stuff like that. But I mean, the bottom line is he knew how to tap into that. You know what I'm saying? To reach them and touch them like that. So, you know, shout out to Cube, one of my absolute favorite rappers of all time.
Yes, sir. And also one more before we go. Gotta say this, Mr. Tupac Shakur. You throw on some Tupac, that'll get the party going.
I Get Around, you know, yeah, he's got some joints, you know. But hey, you bring them up, you got to bring up Digital Underground, because the Humpty Dance, that was one of those songs that, you know, you talk about a party song. That got people going.
Oh man, the Humpty Dance was so big, y'all. Y'all just don't even understand how big that song was. Do the Humpty Hump. Oh man, that was.
And you know what? We're gonna have to go just a little bit further, because there's a few other songs we got to touch. We can't just run away from, because when you talk about raw bass, It Takes Two. You know, this was a joint that got people going. Shout out to my brother Leroy that brought that up. But yeah, no, that was a joint, because we put this out here on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people offered their, you know, their takes and inputs. So, you know, when we talk about Ambrose is talking about They Call Me D Nice, you know, literally D Nice made a career off of this one song. I mean, you know, and it's a banger. It was such a banger that Cube had to take it and put it on that jacket for beats. So, you know, it's just, you know, he did that. So salute to that brother.
Right. So you got some more too, like Summertime.
Yep. When Will Smith was doing his Rakim type flow type dynamic. But you know, and it's funny, this is a song that's really laid back and really kind of cool and just whatever and stuff like that, but it blew up. Like, you know, white people just like really just, you know, blew up on it. And I mean, you know, hey, shout out to Will Smith. You know, I'm always going to be a Will Smith fan. I respect this brother as an artist, as a rapper, and as a, you know, and as an actor and all this stuff. I understand he put hands on a brother that he shouldn't have done that, but you know, I'm not going to throw away this brother for this momentary lapse of judgment.
No, especially because he is hip hop, and he was hip hop from the beginning when he did come out, and they had some classic stuff. Hey, MC Hammer, you can't anything MC Hammer had out there in those early days.
I didn't want to bring up MC Hammer, but I think you do got to bring up MC Hammer, because MC Hammer was hip hop.
Yes,
he was hip hop as a dancer. I'm not buying into him hip hop as a musician. I understand he was technically doing hip hop, but I wasn't really rocking with his music as much as I was rocking with his vibe. Because as a dancer, one thing that I really loved about MC Hammer, he was a person that got it, but he was a masculine dancer. He was a masculine dancer with energy. You know what I'm saying? And just was it, you know, this dude was a legendary, and he could still move to this day, probably. You know what I'm saying? I remember he did remember when that dude Psy did that Gangnam Style, whatever.
Mhm.
And MC Hammer and him did like a mashup of like one of his songs and one of his songs, and they were dancing together. And I mean, he was getting it. I mean, you should look that up. Anybody that ain't seen that performance, you know what I'm saying? So I got nothing but love and respect for for MC Hammer. I do think he was a trash rapper, but he was not a trash artist. And I salute his career, and I'm glad that he did every single thing he did. I'm glad he made every single penny that he made. Too bad he didn't be more frugal about that and be more better financially, but you know.
For real. Listen, I ain't gonna go as far as say he was a trash rapper, but you know, he wasn't the best rapper at all. He was a performer. That's what he was.
He's a great
He was
performer.
still hip hop though, because he was
Absolutely hip hop.
He didn't push no negativity in his music. He was all about that, just dancing and partying and having a good time.
And he was a real gangster dude that you didn't get that vibe from because he was just so positive. So I mean, that's why, you know, I gotta put. That's what I'm saying. You gotta understand. I love MC Hammer. I just didn't love his music.
Right.
But
right.
I just love that dude, and I'm always gonna have the utmost. I'm always gonna salute. If I ever see him on the street, I'm gonna give that brother a salute. I'm never gonna talk bad about MC Hammer, and for that same reason, I'm gonna talk good about Kanye, because even though he's absolutely bat-ish crazy, you know, this dude did some legendary music, some legendary work, and for the most part, he's a positive rapper. So you know, and I lean into and support the positive guys. It ain't everything ain't got to be about killing somebody or selling drugs or being a hoe. You know, there's other
talk.
lanes.
That's real talk. So with that being said, we finna be up out of here for this week. Hey man, I appreciate you being here. It seems like Mr. Walk, Mr. Floyd X, and nobody else could join us. I know shout out to Brick Walls. I know he's still, you know, going through what he's going through. Shout out to you, brother. Hopefully you get better and be back on here. But maybe next week we'll have everybody else on here. But I gotta thank Mr. Nice Guy for being here and holding it down with your boy. So until next time, this is your boy El Pooh. And for Mr. Nice Guy and the rest of the crew, we'd like to thank y'all. We want y'all to like, share, and subscribe, and support like that. That's all you got to do. Put that little like up there. It don't cost you, but that's the only thing we're going to charge you. Charge you a little thumbs up. That's it. But check us out every Saturday. Well, except the first Saturday of the month. That's why I do some extra work. But either way, y'all tune in right here.
Shout out to my boy Pax.
Yeah, Pax with the Pax. All right. And we finna be out.